What is going on, guys? Alex Prime here. Today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 because we finally got some real information, not rumors, not speculation, from Mark Cerny, who is the lead man working on the PlayStation 5. He's the same guy that made the PlayStation 4, so when he talks, you know what's up. He had a interview with Wired magazine. We're going to go through some of the stuff here. I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it's pretty long, but I'm going to pick out stuff that I find interesting and I think you might find interesting as well. So, first up, the PlayStation 5, it's real, it's coming, but not this year. It is not coming out in 2019. I'm sorry for those of you who thought it was, but it is not. It is coming out probably 2020. I think 2021 might be a little too late. They don't get into price points, but after we're done talking here, I'll talk to you and let you know what I think it's gonna cost, because it might be a little more than what you're expecting. So Mark Cerny talks about the PlayStation 4, how they're doing great. We all know it's doing great, but it has some drawbacks. It's not super powerful. It's starting to show its age. So here comes the PS5, and it looks like we're getting a real generational leap with this console, and that's super exciting. As someone who has the PS4 Pro, even this thing was like, as a half step, it wasn't great. Still not amazing, but this PS5 could be fantastic. First up, the processor, which has been the Achilles heel of these consoles. The PlayStation 4, the Pro, the Xbox One, the One S, the One X, they all use the Jaguar Core processor from AMD, which is not great. It is basically a laptop processor and was outdated when the consoles launched. Not a great processor. It was what has been holding back these consoles the most, and they're finally solving that because now they're using AMD Ryzen, which is an awesome processor. I got the Ryzen 7 1800X. It's 8 cores, 16 threads, and it's fantastic. It does multitasking like a beast, and it gives great performance in games. Now they're bringing something similar to the PlayStation 5, albeit a custom variation, and it's actually the Zen 2, which is the new version of this. It's not even available to buy for the PC yet. It's coming out later this year. But Sony is actually getting that newer version on a SoC, which means system on chip. It's going to have the processor and the graphics processor together on one chip. That's just how consoles are. They don't have the separate CPUs and separate GPUs like we do on PC. But you're going to have the new version of Ryzen, which is awesome. It's going to be 8 cores. I don't think it's going to be 16 threads. They don't really mention that, but they say it has 8 cores, which is fantastic. And that's going to be great for us on PC, especially if you use Ryzen, because if all these developers are developing games for Ryzen processors, that's going to trickle down to PC as well, and we'll get better optimized games. So that's super exciting. Even if you don't like PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, and you like playing on PC, this could be a huge benefit to you. So that is great. Now the second thing that they're doing is they're actually putting AMD's new graphics card into their system, which is Navi, which again is not out yet for us to buy on PC. It's coming out later this year, but Sony has worked exclusively with AMD to get the Navi system on the PlayStation 5. So that should be an advancement over what we currently have, which is Vega. I got one back there, a Vega 56. But the problem with that thing is it's really loud and it runs really hot. So this new Navi technology is supposed to be better. We still don't know all the details about it, but it should run cooler, it should be quieter, and it should be even more powerful. So that's super exciting. If they're putting that into the PlayStation 5, when we get it on PC, and people start adopting that, should bring prices down, and again, better optimized games if the consoles are using that same technology. So we're getting better processors, a better processor and graphics processor together. But it doesn't stop there. One of the biggest problems outside of the processor on these consoles is they have really slow hard drives. They use the 5400 RPM hard drives, which are like the slowest, crappiest hard drives you can get. That's what they use in the consoles, but that's going to change. They are finally putting SSDs into the console, and my god, this is going to make such a huge difference when it comes to load times, installs, basically everything is going to be faster. No more clunky menus, none of that. It's all going to be super snappy. That's what SSDs do. And not only that, the PlayStation 5 is going to be using a SSD that is faster than anything that is currently available on the PC market. Freaking crazy. I guess they worked and got some sort of exclusive SSD on their system. We'll probably get something like that on PC later. It's probably just like the next generation of SSD. This thing is so fast that they did a test with Spider-Man on the PS4 Pro. Not even the regular PS4, on the PS4 Pro. The load time was 15 seconds. That's when you're using the fast travel. You know, on Spider-Man, we use the fast travel. They mask it by you being in the subway, and they have like a little animation where you're looking at other Spider-Man. Cool stuff like that. But it's all to mask the load times, 15 seconds. It's not terrible, but definitely that can add up while you're playing games and using fast travel. It gets super annoying. They did the same scene on the PS5 dev kit, and it was 0.8 seconds. That's crazy. Not even 1 second. They shaved 14.2 seconds off a load time just by using this SSD. That's fantastic. That's a huge upgrade for the consoles. That's going to make it super snappy, and it will also improve gameplay in general because they can load assets faster as well. You won't have crappy pop-in all the time, so that's fantastic. And that, again, great for PC, because eventually when those come out and developers start making games with those kind of SSDs in mind, it will improve our experience as well. They also talk about having ray tracing on the console, which might be a problem. Like, I'm excited that they're getting these new processors, because that means they can probably do 60 FPS on a consistent basis, until I saw this stuff about ray tracing, because ray tracing is really taxing and kills your frame rate. And we know on console they like to push graphics because it's easier to sell people on the idea of prettier graphics than it is to sell them on frame rate, because it's just easier to market like visuals. So unfortunately, we might still, even with these new processors and more powerful GPUs, we still might be looking at 30 FPS most of the time if they're going to be pushing this ray tracing. Because again, ray tracing is super intensive. Even like the highest end Nvidia cards, like $1,000 Nvidia cards, struggle to do 1080p with ray tracing in some cases. Like, it's really intense on your system. So I really wish they weren't gonna be focusing on ray tracing, but that's something that might be their new buzzword for the next gen consoles. He also talked about they'll be 8K capable, but I don't believe that for a second. He might as well be talking about 8K Netflix. You're not gaming in 8K except maybe on some side-scrolling indie games, something like that. They also talk about 3D audio, which could be cool. You would have to experience to actually to hear the difference. Not see the difference, you to hear it. But with this, the only problem is you need to have a full-on surround sound system to experience it. If you just have the two speakers, or you're using TV speakers, you're not going to notice the difference. So, but it's supposed to give you a more immersive experience if you do have that. So if you're a person who has the full-on surround sound system, I would be pretty excited right now, because you're going to get much better audio. That's kind of it. That was basically what they talked about. So new CPU, new GPU, 3D audio, and ray tracing, and an SSD. Pretty impressive stuff, like, not gonna lie. They didn't give specifics like how fast the CPU is gonna be or how powerful the GPU is, none of that. They just give us generalizations, but now we know at least what kind of architecture we're dealing with and what generation of processor and video and graphics we're dealing with, so that's super cool. I'm mostly excited for these SSD stuff. I think that's gonna make a huge difference. But when it comes to price, they didn't talk about it, but PS4 launched at $400. I find it hard to believe that this thing will be $400. I think it's probably going to be $500, But you guys let me know if you think they can pull this off for 400. If they could, that would be freaking crazy. That would be incredible. But I'm sitting here thinking $499 probably makes more sense. It's not super out of the realm of possibility because we already have the Xbox One S. That was One X. That was $500, and Microsoft claims it did well. I don't know. But PS5 might be $500, so who knows? Let me know what you guys think, though. Are you guys willing to spend $500 on a console? Oh, also, I can't believe I forgot this. The PlayStation 5 will be fully backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. They didn't talk about PlayStation 3, 2, or 1. Maybe that'll be handled through PS Now, who knows, but you will have full backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4. So that is awesome. If you are someone who bought a lot of PS4 games this generation, you don't need to worry. They will all carry over, and you can play them on your PS5, which of course will still have a disc drive. It is not going to be digital only, so that's great too. I would imagine we're going to get a 4K Blu-ray player this time, because even the PS4 Pro is only a regular Blu-ray. That was pretty dumb, but I would assume this new one is a 4K Blu-ray player. And that's cool. You don't have to miss out on all your PS4 games. And if you're someone who didn't buy a PS4, you can just basically skip it at this point and get a PS5, and you can get all those PS4 games super cheap, like God of War and Spider-Man and Uncharted and Last of Us. There's a lot of good games that are pretty cheap now, and you can get those on your PS5. So yeah, that's it, basically. Nothing else was talked about. We'll have to wait till I almost said E3, but they're not going to E3. Probably that PlayStation experience, whenever that is, to learn more. But until then, PS5 is sounding like it's pretty nice, not gonna lie. And this is great for PC gaming, as especially if you have AMD, because it's gonna drive prices down, make stronger GPUs that are more affordable. So that is awesome, and we'll get better optimized games because now they'll be using more current hardware. So this is great news. We'll see what Xbox does at E3 when they reveal their console. Let me know, guys. Are you excited, or what do you think is the best thing about this PlayStation 5 news? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. I'm out of here. Alex Prime here. I hope you had a great time. Bye.